looking at the problems on here, number 2 is done exactly the same way. Number 3 is a bit of a pain in the neck. We'll look at that one next. For number 4 is done just like number 3. Number 5 is all numbers, so that's just like number 3. And number 6 is just like number 1. So if you are doing evens, numbers 2 and 6 should be just like this example here. You're following the exact same steps. Let's go ahead and do number 3 as an example, because on number 3 they gave you only sides. They didn't give you any angles. So this is another case where we have to use law of cosines. So they want us to find angle B, the measure of it. So it looks like this. A 6, B 5, C 7. And we can pick whichever angle we feel like finding. If we were try to solve for all of them, they only, instead of solving for the whole triangle, they only want us to find angle B, so that makes it a little bit easier. So we just have to worry about B. That means we're going to go B squared equals A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cosine of B. The reason I did that one is because that's the formula that has an angle B in it. So let's go ahead and plug in all the pieces that we have. So A is going to be 5. I'm not so good at using lined paper. If you can't tell, whiteboards don't have lines on them. So C is going to be 6. And then we're going to go B squared equals, add those, minus 2, and then it's going to be cosine of B, and we don't know cosine of B. That's what we're looking for. So we need to actually solve for that. Now, I tend to want to solve for it and then plug it all in my calculator, all in one fell swoop, but we can simplify this first. There is a cat coming on the screen, so sorry if she distracts. Hi, Kiara. You are not very helpful. 5 squared is 25, plus 6 squared gives me 36, minus, that's a 30, times a 2 gives me a 60 cosine of B. We can go ahead and combine these guys. So B squared, and there's a cat tail in my way. That's going to give us a 1, a 61. Can I do math today? I think I can. Probably should check on the calculator. Cosine of B. Okay, so now comes to our algebra part. We want to solve for cosine of B. So I'm going to move the furthest thing out. So minus 61, minus 61. Oh, do you know what? I just realized I forgot to put my B in there. We have B. Let's go with a how about a green color for B? So B was 7. I should have had this be 7 squared, 7, yeah, okay, that one's dead. Throw you away. Green number 2, 7 squared, so this is 49 right here. Yeah, this is sadness. There we go. Okay, so that means we're going to go 49 minus 61. We are so not going to rely on my brain here. So let's go 49 minus 61 gives me a negative 12, negative 60 cosine of B. Let's get rid of this negative 60. These are multiplied, so we're going to divide that over. So we are going to get, I'm just going to leave it as 12 over 60 equals cosine of B. So how do we essentially undo a cosine? We are going to do an inverse cosine. So if cosine of B is 12 over 60, then cosine inverse of 12 over 60 will give us B. So in the calculator, again, make sure you're on degrees. There's a little inverse cosine button up there. So I'm going to hit second, cosine 12 divided by 60. And that gives me about 70, can we still see? Yeah, 78.46. I think they wanted this to tenths, so 78.5 degrees would be angle B. So when they give you, so just to kind of rehash the law of cosines in general, we have to use the law of cosines when they either give you two sides and the angle between them. Cat butt, move. There we go. So if they give you the two sides and the angle between them, in other words, we don't have a pair, then we're stuck using law of cosines. If they gave you all three sides, and we can tell it's not a right triangle, then we're stuck using law of cosines. And this is the one that's a little more complicated because you have to do a little bit of algebra. Your book might have done a little thing where they already solved for this. So if your book gave it to you, you might keep on a sheet beside you. Let's see if I can solve this real quick. B squared minus A squared minus C squared over negative 2AC. If your book gave you something like this, go ahead and you can use that. That's just solved for. If they didn't, then you would just do these little algebra steps. So a little practice on algebra, not too bad. So looking back at your assignment, problems 2, and 6 are just like this one. They're very straightforward. You're just plugging them in, knowing how to put in the calculator or in the computer. And then for problem number 4, it's like this one where you're putting in the numbers. Remember to put that one in right away. And then when you get to the end, you're doing a little bit of algebra, and then you're going to do an inverse cosine to find that angle. Oop, there we go. Okay.